Hello, welcome to the channel. My name's Savannah if you're new here. Today I'm sharing with you a super simple high-level guide on how to get started with minimalism this year. I will also be sharing all of the mistakes that I personally made so that you can hopefully learn from them. Let's do it. Step number one is to imagine your ideal life. Grab a notepad, grab your phone, hop into the notes app and get typing away. What do you want it to feel like? What do you want it to sound like? Who do you want in your life? What would that day-to-day life look like? And be really specific, really get into the weeds there and just jot down any ideas that you have. It could be simply how your home looks and feels. It could be about your relationships. It could be with your media consumption. It could be with your diet, exercise. I know for me, I really want to do yoga in the morning. So an ideal morning for me is walking out into my living room and it's completely picked up so that I can jump right down and do yoga comfortably. Maybe there's a certain way you want to make your morning cup of coffee. Maybe there's a certain feeling you want to have throughout your day. And once you feel like you have a good brain dump going with a lot of good ideas, a general vision, I recommend breaking things down into different areas, categories of your life. You could do physical spaces. I know I have my home, my car, and then I also think of relationships or different things in my life. So it could be work, it could be friends, family, hobbies, interests. I also like to think of my digital world or my digital space because that is obviously a huge part of all of our lives these days. I have my phone, I have my laptop. So those are some examples of different categories or areas of your life. And then you'll want to start fine-tuning those ideas within those different categories. So with relationships, maybe there's certain boundaries you're wanting to put in place. Maybe there's some friendships you maybe want to let go this year and simplify things. I know for me, I had a lot of acquaintance type friends coming out of college, but over the years, I have been whittling things down to just a few good friends and I really love it that way. And then obviously we have our physical spaces. So what do you want those spaces to look like and feel like? Maybe there's a certain feeling or function you want to see happening in your kitchen this year so you can get inspired to cook a little bit more. Or it could be your wardrobe. Maybe when you go to your closet, you feel a bit overwhelmed and you really want to hone in on simplifying your closet to really reflect your personal style and your current life stage. I love a good wardrobe clean out. In fact, that's where I got started with minimalism, which brings me to our next step. Step number two is simplify with gratitude. For me, this means focusing on the positive, which is what I'm keeping in my life instead of really holding on to the past and focusing on what I'm throwing away and what I'm getting rid of, which in a lot of ways just feels like all of our mistakes. Even the words getting rid of and throwing away have always felt a bit harsh to me. I've always had this looming sense of just guilt and shame about getting rid of things. A lot of times it's tied to gifts we received from someone that we feel like we have to hold on to. It could be a sentimental item, something that belonged to someone. It also could be things that we spent a lot of money on and that we feel like we should keep because we never really wore it, but it was expensive. But I am here to tell you that your stuff and the things you hold on to do not define you. And just because they were part of your past doesn't mean you have to hold on to them and take them into the future with you. If I'm a fan of an artist, if I do not have that physical album in my house, because I mean, who has a record player, a CD player? Maybe you do. I don't. I am still a fan. I don't have to own that CD and have it on a shelf or packed away in a drawer to still identify as a fan. Same goes for hobby items. I found that I was holding on to my soccer cleats for years and years, even though I wasn't playing because I was pregnant and had a new baby. I felt like I just had to keep them just because I was a soccer player. Like, are you even a soccer player if you do not own a pair of cleats and have them on standby ready to play a pickup game? The answer is yes. What makes me a soccer player? It's just the fact that I've spent my whole life playing. I have a ton of memories playing soccer, but whether or not I actually physically have cleats in my garage, that truly doesn't matter. For me, my number one regret when it comes to decluttering and minimalism was just being really hard on myself in the start. I was looking around at everything around me and was just being hypercritical of all of the mistakes that I felt like I had made. But in reality, they are not mistakes, they are just learning lessons. I love in Marie Kondo's book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, she references different pieces in our wardrobe when they don't work out for us and we don't like them and we don't wear them. What you can do is you can thank that item and have gratitude for the item for showing you what is not your style or what is not your color. Maybe it wasn't a great color, it didn't really match your complexion. Thank that item for teaching you that lesson and then pass it on. There's so much in our homes that other people can still use. That is such a better case scenario than it just sitting and rotting away in your closet, in your drawer. And same goes for social media. I highly recommend unfollowing anyone that just doesn't make you feel good. Actually, if they don't make you feel amazing or inspired, unfollow them. You don't need a specific reason. It's not personal, just let it go. Life is short and I really believe in honing in on what makes you feel good and inspired as an individual. After simplifying, you're going to jump into step number 3, which is that everything has a place. You'll find that within minimalism, organization is not a huge conversation. Minimalism is more about being able to easily access and utilize all the things in your home. My biggest organization method hack when it comes to minimalism and just life in general is that every single thing in your home should have a home, a very specific place that it can fit comfortably. I don't know who gave me this tip. I think I learned it from many YouTube channels and books, but it is simply that an item should be just as easy to put back away as it is to take out. As humans, we naturally take the path of least resistance. So if there's a ton of resistance when it comes to putting things back in their homes, we just won't do it. The example of Tupperware always comes to mind for me because most people's Tupperware cabinets are pure chaos of swirling lids and bins and mismatched things. So I don't blame people when they just end up throwing things into the pile. But if you actually have a home and a specific organization to the things in your cupboard, you'll actually end up putting them away. But the caveat to that, and this is just my personal opinion, is that you have to have a smaller amount of inventory to actually make this everything has a home tip practical. I love Dawn the Minimal Mom. On her channel, she always talks about her home and her space as almost a store. We are the shopkeeper in our store, and we have this inventory. And every shopkeeper has a certain set of abilities. They have a certain amount of time in their day, just kind of depending on what's going on in your life, how busy you are, how many people live in your home, how much stuff there is. We all have this threshold where the inventory is just so high, and we don't have the capacity to deal with it or keep things organized. But if you lower your inventory, it actually does become manageable in that case. If you think about a closet with 5 things hanging on the rack, if you wear those items and you're coming to put things back in the closet, if there are only 5 hangers there, you're definitely gonna hang it up. I mean, why not? It already looks great. It's really, really easy. But if you have a closet that has hundreds of things in it, they're all like jam-packed and falling off, you're most likely just going to throw that thing on the floor or just shove it somewhere because it's too difficult to put it away. For me, I put a huge weight on these micro decisions that I make on a daily basis. So every little extra thing that I have to sort through to find what I'm looking for, let's say it's my pen, pencil drawer, whatever you want to call that, home office drawer. If I have a ton of markers and pencils and things in there and I'm looking for a specific pen, it's gonna take me like 10-20 seconds to find that pen. But if I have a small organized thing with just a few markers, a few pens, things that I really do use, then I can find that pen way faster. And just that one little scenario, once you add up these different instances throughout your entire day, it really saves you a lot of time. So make things easy on yourself, make sure everything has a home, and you will be much happier. You'll spend a lot less time cleaning and a lot less time looking for things. Okay, so we've simplified, we've decluttered, we've done a little organizing, everything has its home. So why is it that a few weeks later, our home is still returning to its chaotic tornado state? That is why this next step number 4, is so important. It is getting to the root. Getting to the root of why there is this constant inflow of things into our home. And I finally realized after some time of reflection and kind of dabbling in minimalism, it was because I was shopping nonstop. I was never not shopping. So things were always flowing back into my house. I wasn't intentional about decision making with purchases. I used shopping as a pacifier in a lot of ways to just numb whatever emotions I was going through. It was definitely a crutch that I would lean on. At the end of the day, these clothes really didn't make me happy, and they actually got me a lot further away from the core of who I was and my personal style. And shopping is just one example, but I know it's an example that plagues a lot of us. It's so easy to just one click and have something on our doorstep from Amazon in 2 days. But I really challenge you to be more considerate and intentional with your purchases. There is such an empowering feeling with getting a hold on your shopping and really addressing why you're shopping, and see if there are more healthy ways to fill that void in your life. Maybe go for a walk, get some fresh air, FaceTime a friend, and get some laughs in. I know those are great solutions for me when I'm feeling a little stressed and overwhelmed and find myself reaching for my phone and scrolling. Another way to get to the root, digitally speaking, is to unsubscribe. Unsubscribe from those marketing emails that you're constantly getting. Once I unsubscribed from pretty much every emailer that I was receiving, my inbox was so quiet and I was checking my email so many fewer times a day. What an absolute waste of time. We're opening up advertisements all day. Just add up all of those seconds over the course of your lifetime. Kind of a depressing waste of time. It reminds me in the Christmas story. It's just like a crummy commercial. That's how I feel when I open marketing emails, so that's a good way to get to the root of receiving those. Also, I know when I go on my phone now and I see apps that I'm not using, you know, you always download those apps on vacation. I was just at Disneyland, so I have the Disneyland app, or just apps that are kind of like naughty apps that you want to use less. If I'm not using Airbnb or like Grubhub for a specific thing, I will just delete those things off my phone. Otherwise, I'm more inclined to just go on and like book something or buy something. So definitely get in there, do a declutter of your apps, go into text messages, do a declutter there. Just always be decluttering, and once you get in this decluttering mindset of simplifying things as they come into your inbox and your physical inbox, your mail. When I get mail into my house now, I recycle it on the spot. I don't leave it hanging out to maybe check a catalog later. No, I'm good. I have enough to think about on a day-to-day basis. I don't need to think about these ads and random credit card applications. No, thank you. I rip it and I put it right into the recycling bin. That brings us to the final step, step number 5, which is continue to evolve. Decluttering and minimalism, when you jump into it, I know you just want it to be one and done, wham bam. I have a few cups, a few t-shirts, a few spoons, but that's really not what it's all about. If you have less things in your home, that does not solve all your problems. It doesn't give you instant happiness. It does come with some work. You have to continue to grow and evolve and be intentional. One way you're doing things in your home may not be practical 6 months from now or a few years from now. Same with your social media. Maybe there's certain people you follow that are really inspiring and they change, or you change and they're no longer inspiring you. I challenge you to continue to challenge yourself and ask yourself questions. Who am I now? Who do I want to be in the future? Fine tune and prune your life like a little special bonsai tree that is perfectly you. It's perfectly unique. It's a good way to live. At least I think it's a good way to live, and maybe you will too. So give minimalism a try. Let me know in the comments what resonated with you in this video. What are you looking forward to with 2023, this year ahead? If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. It really helps my channel out. And stay tuned for more minimalism and intentional living content from me. I post new videos every week. I'll catch you guys in my next one. Have a fun day. Bye.